to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the true Chicago sports fan cave, this is the TCSF podcast with your hosts, E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
Episode 23 is brought to you by Noir Caesar, Villain Radio Studios, and Grit Clothing Company.
That's right.
As always, I am Big-Z. I'm here with E-Roc. What up, E?
What's going on, Z? We got an action-packed show today. This week, tons of Chicago sports to talk about. 2 college football championships coming up.
That's right.
We'll talk about all that good stuff here in the loop. And as always, in our 3 and Out segment, our weekly Bears analyst, Il Brown, gives us his X's and O's on Sunday's game versus Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Deshaun
baby.
Watson. Can't wait to get into some Bears talk. Finally a W, so we're going to be excited to talk Bears now.
That's right. And then we do have a special guest joining us for our Stirring the Pot segment.
Right, that's right. Mr. Gabe Ramirez from B96, the B96 morning show with Nina.
Yeah, he's the co-host of the Fox Network's Bears Unleash. Like you said, he's the co-host B96 in the morning with Nina. And, hey, a fellow Lane Tech alum.
That's right. Nothing but love for Lane Tech. But first, this is The Loop, our Chicago sports roundup where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
All right, E, any news on the north side of town? It's kind
a little bit.
Okay, what you got?
So there's been reports that the Cubs are currently looking to figure out who their next GM is going to be.
Okay.
But there was also some news that they're interested in free agent Jackie Bradley Jr., formerly of the Red Sox.
That's a great pickup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's a great pickup.
It's someone that you can pick him up, plug him in right away, and you don't have any Kyle Schwarber out there in the outfield anymore, so they could probably shuffle things around and make everyone fit out there.
Yeah, I mean, you already have a pretty good outfield as it is, and you're going to shore it up with Jackie Bradley Jr. He hits about, 260 to 280.
Yeah,
you're not asking the world of him.
And he's only like 28, I think.
Right. Yeah, he is in his late 20s, so he is in his prime baseball years. So his bat can only get better. And, his defense has been always one of the great ones. Great gloves out there.
Absolutely. And Cubs fans have been clamoring for something because we're hearing players go here, there, everywhere, and Cubs are kind of standing pat. The biggest news that we had so far was that Theo was leaving. So we're thirsty for something to happen. Let's go.
While you knew Theo was leaving, it's still kind of a gut punch to the stomach when he finally announced it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like knowing that your buddy's going to go off to college, you never see him again, type of thing.
Yeah,
after high school, and you're like, we were best friends since we were 8, and I'm never going to see you ever again. So I mean, but I heard there's a lot of stuff going on the South Side. What's up with the South Side,
dude? MVP racks up another award for the White Sox. Jose Abreu is your 2020 AL Hank Aaron Award.
Damn, wow.
The Hank Aaron Award recognizes the most outstanding offensive performer in each league. He finishes 2020 with the American League MVP, American League Silver Slugger, American League Hank Aaron Award, AL Outstanding Player's Choice Award. It sounds like an MTV award. You probably could have won one of those too. AL Player of the Month for July and August. Sporting News 2020 first All-Star First Baseman.
Wow.
Sporting News 2020 MLB Player of the Year. Baseball America 2020 MLB All First Team. IBWAA, I don't even know what that is. 2020 AL MVP. 2020 MVP Second Team. I mean, this dude is going to have a room for all these accolades now.
I want to remind you that when the Chicago Cubs got that Team Gold Glove, you forgot about that, didn't you? You thought I forgot about that, man. Oh, it's just okay. Well, this is like 1 or 2 actual awards, maybe 3.
No, there's more than 2.
There's 3. You got the Silver Slugger, MVP, and Hank Aaron Award. All the rest is the Players' Choice Awards and get all that mess out of here. These are all Nickelodeon awards, bro.
Okay,
the first three.
I'm gonna agree with you. The first three,
and the rest you just read because you like talking about Pito. That's what happened right there. That's what it is. I mean, let's be honest.
MVP, though. Let's clear that up. Let's clear that up. No. And one of those, and I know it's like on paper, right? But he would have been an all-star.
Well, and that's fine. But there was an all-star game, so that's what I'm saying is that for this year, you can toot his horn all you want, but the three real ones are the AL MVP, the Silver Slugger, and the Hank Aaron Award. The rest was just you talk about MVP Pito.
He's my favorite player. What can I say?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
What else is going on with them?
The White Sox also signed former White Sox, former Arizona Diamondback, former Washington National, Adam Eaton.
Wow. Is his son coming too?
I don't know. Jesus, I don't know. I doubt that it'll be the same debacle. It's a 1 year, $7 million deal. Jesus. With a second team option for 8.5. We still don't know who's going to play right field. If it's going to be Platoon, if it's going to be mostly Adam Ian, if it's going to be Adam Engel.
Now,
I think about 32.
Okay, I mean, so him and Engel, they can kind of.
And Engel had a kind of a breakout season this year.
Yeah, so but I mean, he's not a star. Adam Eaton's not a star either. These are guys. They're kind of the same guy.
They are.
So you can kind of let them split.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. They're both defensively really, really good. So that's fine with that. All right. The White Sox also traded prospect Dane Dunning and Avery Weems for Lance Lynn. This will definitely show up the starting rotation. Lynn will slide into the 3 spot. And the rotation right now looks like Giolito, Keiko, Lynn, Cease, and then the back end with either Kopech or Crochet, unless they sign another pitcher. So
we were talking off air.
Yep.
And there's still one guy out there that you think the White Sox should sign.
I would love if they got Bauer. Because he's just a trash talking and he backs it up. And I follow him on Instagram and he's just hilarious, man. You guys would love him too because he was trolling you guys yesterday.
Well, he was trolling the whole league. What he did is he had a Photoshop picture of himself in a bunch of different jerseys that was on his Facebook page.
Right.
And that's just the way he is. That's how he acts. And that's why he's basically, the guy on every team that you would hate to face, but you love on your team.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You guys had a guy like that at catcher when he got punched in the face by Michael Barrett. I remember that. That was back in the day. But
look who got the better career.
Hey. Yeah, but look who got stuck in the jaw.
It doesn't matter.
That was still one of my favorite moments of all time. Just because Przinsky is that type of dude that that everyone's like, yeah, get him. Because he won't
he's an agitator.
shut up. And he was like, oh, look, hey, he hit me. I'm like, yeah, he did. I saw that too. I don't care. Michael Barry will always live on the Cubs lore because of what happened that game.
I agree. What's going on the west side of Chicago?
Bro, NBA season is here.
Is it?
I suppose it is.
Preseason.
Now, to be fair, Mike Logic and Ideal on their podcast came back this week, and they're all about it. And I'm happy because they're happy, and they're super geeked about this NBA season. I'm still trying to work my way through this Bears season. I'm not ready for NBA basketball yet. I'll be honest with you. But we did see Pat Williams come out there. He looked pretty good. He's slick. He's smooth. He looks like a professional already, even though we heard a lot of crap about him being a bench player for a college team. That's because everyone was a bench player, really.
But that was the system he was in. Everybody played about 8 to 10 minutes. So that really didn't matter. The fact that he finished every game is the important part.
Yeah.
Now, he looks NBA ready. He's got a sweet jump shot, a sweet floater. He wasn't afraid to guard John Wall and get, down and dirty. So I'm excited about, C-Red Nation. But right now, let's be honest, it's still Bear season.
It is Bears season, like I said, unless you're Mike Logic, because he's already deep diving in these preseason games. But you look at the big thing that we saw in this offseason was the fact that they really didn't go after another point guard. So what that tells you is that they're ready to give Kobe White the keys to the car. So now he didn't look that comfortable out there, but he'll get that over time. Zach LaVine is used to doing a lot of the ball handling too. So now you look at what Kobe White is and what Zach LaVine is. You're talking about two guys that should be able to score at will. But one of the things that you did see when the Bulls played the Rockets, you saw Otto Porter Jr. Out there, and he's actually making shots. He looks slow. He can't move his feet defensively, but he's making shots. And, that's what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah, he's slower than molasses. It's just bad.
But Yeah, I mean, you got Otto Porter out there. Don't forget, you got Denzel around, and he's not playing. And Felicio.
He got a couple minutes. He got a couple minutes one of those games. So
at the end of the game, and Donovan actually talked about Felicio coming off the bench. He was a professional, and he had some high praise for him just because he says, "Hey, this guy stayed around for a while, waiting to come up off the bench." And when he did, got his chance, he went up there and did his thing. But I mean, it's going to take a long time for me to be real excited about what's going on with this team.
Again, I agree with you 100% there. The Bulls Nation the Bulls have to prove it to us right now. Mm-hmm. We've been in limbo for 20. I'm going to say 20 years, but we did have some sparks here and there with the Derrick Rose teams and the Noahs and
you had
Luol Dengs and all that. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? Yeah.
You had the Luol Deng and Ben Gordon. Where they give you some moments.
Yeah, with Kirk. Yeah,
exactly. Kirk Heimer. Yep, and Nocioni.
Yeah.
So you had players come through here that were exciting. We just don't know what we have right now.
It's like being in a relationship and you can't be falling in love all the time. Really quickly. You can't fall in love within the first 2 weeks. You're gonna get your heart broken, bro.
These are facts.
All right. Northwestern will face Ohio State this Saturday, 11 a.m. for the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
break it down.
You got Northwestern came out on fire this year. They had they did have the one loss, and then they finished out the season beating up on Illinois pretty good. And what happened after that is that Lovie Smith, who we all know love up here in Chicago, he was let go. He was let go.
No love for that man no more.
So we're super excited to see what's going to happen with Northwestern, Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State is a tough team to face. To be honest, or to be fair, Big Ten in general was just behind the 8 ball the whole time because they started so late compared to the other conferences.
Right.
So it was all Northwestern really had to do was catch everyone off guard. And I mean, Ohio State's going to be.
Ohio's very favored. I think they're like an 8 or 9 point favorite. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is that they have one of the most dynamic young quarterbacks in football right now with Justin Fields. Yep. They've been beating up on people all over the place too. I mean, they scored 52 on Nebraska, 42 on Indiana, 52 against Michigan State. I mean,
wait, are any of those teams any good though?
It's all the Big Ten, you know what I mean? So, but it's just the fact Indiana's pretty good, and they won that game. I remember watching that game. Indiana was, I think, undefeated at the time, but Ohio State beat them 42-35, and that came down to the wire because Indiana finished the season at number 11, so they weren't no joke. But I don't know, Northwestern number 14, number 4 Ohio State. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. What about what's going on in South Bend, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? They play Clemson again this Saturday. So you know what? If you're a football fan, your Saturday is shot. It's shot.
No, it's set. It's set because you're ready to go. It ain't shot.
No. If you had any plans, those are shot.
Yeah. You forget all that mess. I mean, that's just
you're not picking up leaves. You're not mowing the lawn. You're not washing dishes.
This is an early Christmas gift for college football fans.
Yes, agreed.
Championship Saturday.
Yes, championship Saturday, 3 p.m. for
just the
Clemson,
same way
Notre Dame.
that Northwestern has a tough challenge ahead going against Ohio State. Well, Notre Dame's going to go in and play Clemson. If you're a fan of the local Chicago college football teams, good luck. I'm a fan, and I don't know, man. I feel some type of way about the Irish playing Clemson. I
just talked about getting your heart broken.
Yeah, well, they did a great job against the backup Uiagalelei, and
got a first try.
Yeah, dude, I still remember how to say it. But look, it's a whole different ball game when you're talking about Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence out there. He's another guy. Yeah, he's another guy just like Justin Fields, top of their game, best couple of quarterbacks in the NCAA. So our teams here locally do have a fight. They got to gut it out. I'm worried about what's going to happen if the Irish can pull off this game. I don't see the Irish as a good enough team to win a national championship, but it's not any given Sunday. It's not any given Saturday. It's any given Sunday. Typically with college, you have a good feeling who's going to win. But I mean, if Notre Dame can catch them off guard and get a couple of interceptions,
early scores, Yeah,
early
'cause
scores,
some good defense,
interceptions,
early scores, yeah.
turn around, because both Northwestern and Notre Dame have heavily relied on that defense to really keep them where they need to go. Notre Dame can score. Notre Dame can run the ball. Okay, they got players out there. Ian Book's not a big guy, and he's not the best quarterback ever, but he's been getting the job done, especially this last game where he just beat up on a bottom feeder.
Yeah.
But they really have to be firing on all cylinders. Brian Kelly and Pat Fitzgerald really have to get it together if we want our local teams to win.
All right, so give me your prediction of Northwestern versus Ohio. Who's winning that game?
Who's winning? Who's winning that game? In my heart is going to say
your wallet. Who's winning that game with your wallet?
Because I'm bet. If I bet, I'll be screaming and I'll be screaming like you are when the Bears score. You know, I don't want the Bears to win. I'm like, hey man, I don't know where your bets went to, but my heart says I want Northwestern to win.
Well, we want both local teams to win.
But my head says Ohio State got this. I think Ohio State's going to put 42 points on them, and I'll be happy. You know, I think Northwestern might get 21, maybe 28, but I don't see.
That's what I'm thinking, a 42-24 game.
And I mean, I think with Notre Dame, I think I think that's going to be a tight game. I think we're looking at like a 41-38 type of game.
I was thinking 38-31.
Yeah, just a tight game. You might get a 10-digit loss, but I think that if Notre Dame keeps it close, they've been proven, and Ian Book has been proven as a winner, that he can come out at the end of the game and get them the win. If they can keep it close, they got a chance.
Yeah. I just got one more thing to say. Hey, Lovey, how'd you get fired on your day off?
You got to be a stupid mother to get fired on your day off.
They got me stealing boxes, or they got me stealing money from the program. I don't know.
Oh, man. All right, true Chicago sports fans, it's time to pay some bills. And stay tuned as we'll have Gabe on Stirring the Pot later on. We'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some football?
I was today.
Yeah, baby. It's time for some Bears talk with Il Brown. This is 3 and Out.
All right, boys, another week in the books for the Bears. What did you think about this week's offense? E and Will, break it down.
Bro, I mean, the laser show's on full effect. Pew, pew, pew. That's what I said. I mean, I even text that to Will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What you seeing is less Matt Nagy influence. A couple key moves on the offensive line.
Yep.
I hope I don't butcher his name. Mustapher, the center.
Yes.
Whitehair, the guard, left guard. Definitely changed the whole.
You don't
just rush lanes. Everything was just.
It took room to run. It took way too long to see Mustapher instead of Rashad Coward. It took way too long for that to happen.
All day long. Because
the running game just completely changed overnight. It seems like.
Yeah, man. Because Mustapher's a mauler, man. He's winning at the point of attack. You know what I mean? Alex Barrs is getting. I knew Alex Barrs was going to be a solid pro. He just needed time to get stronger and playing time. So you're getting to see something going forward, man. I like that interior line of Mustapher, Barrs, Whitehair, Daniels back.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And that's including the fact that they're missing Daniels. Mustapher and Barrs were from Notre Dame, and they churn out offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, these are the guys that you want.
Those guys know how to play.
Exactly. And, I mean, Montgomery had 113 yards today.
Got busy, man. That 80-yard run was just
baby
textbook trap block. He had all kinds of room. I might have got you about 30 yards on that.
So, looking at the numbers as far as scoring, the second quarter, the Bears scored 23 points. how does this explosion of offense happen?
I'm going to say it's exclusively due to the play calling, and you could just see Bill Lazor's influence, man. Like, I saw a lot of West Coast concepts today, man. Getting the ball out quick, letting your skill position guys get busy, move in the pocket, stuff that should have been happening the entire year.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about
the entire year. Like, I hate to say this, but, wasted Trubisky by not.
I said the exact same
using
thing.
This approach.
So we're watching them score and score and score, and I'm sitting there, I'm getting excited, and he looks at me like, "What's your problem? This is not what we want." And I'm like, "Here's the problem: is that I'm looking at the colors of my team. I'm looking at them wearing the throwback uniforms. I'm watching them play it against Watson. I'm getting excited. They're scoring for the first time all year, really giving us something exciting to watch. I can't help but root for them. But what I said next was that it actually kind of pisses me off because I'm thinking about the fact that, number one, like I said before, they should have never took out Trubisky. And number two, Matt Nagy saw what he was doing as a play caller last year. They brought in Bill Lazor for a reason, and then they didn't use him until the season is already 2/3 gone.
Yeah, man. And Lazor's had success with offensive football in the NFL, something that Matt Nagy has not done.
Correct.
Exclusively in that role. You know what I mean? So
that.
I mean,
go ahead.
Anytime you're dealing with Reed, you know what I mean? Like, you're just extra seasoning on the meal. You know what I mean? But Andy Reid is running the show. So
Lazor is now the quarterback whisperer, and Nagy is what?
Nagy, he's a good motivator.
That's what you were saying.
It's definitely he's a player's coach, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, and I think he's a good leader. I think here's the thing that we've been talking quite a bit about projects, and we talk about Trubisky and Nagy and Pace and all these guys that are Patterson. These are projects, but the reason they're projects is because they're unproven, okay? They have a little bit of flash of brilliance here and there, and then you really don't see them do much. But what I'm seeing, at least, it's probably too little too late, and realistically, it's because we're extremely impatient because of this market and this where we live and the team that we're talking about.
Yep.
But right now, the way that I see it, the Bears are on pace to have another 500 record. Now, we don't want to sit here and talk about another 8-8 season, but the way that I'm looking at it, this is a realistic, thing that's going to happen. And what that tells me is that you do show some adversity in the fact that the Nagy did recognize, whether it was pressure or not, but he eventually recognized that, yep, okay, my plays are not working. Let me see if I can use this other guy. Now, the frustrating thing to me is that based on what happened last year, I feel like this should have started at the beginning of the season, and that's what I just said. And I don't know. It's just confusing me. Do I want to see what they can do next year when they're really going? They're figuring out as the season is progressing what they can do well. Is this something they can carry into next year?
But this is typical Bears. Where they'll give you a little flash, they suck. They'll give you another flash to finish out the season. You're like, oh, I'm excited for next year to see what they do.
What was the other thing that you said too? That Belichick did not come out on fire when he was starting. We're talking about a third-year head coach. So is he starting to realize that, hey, okay, I am a great motivator? Because you saw him. Here's the thing. When they scored or they had great defensive plays, who was out there with the rah-rah and the cheerleader right away and going down the field? That's right, man. That's right, man. Good job, man. Good job, man. So if he can recognize when he needs to delegate and when he needs to take charge, I don't see that Matt Nagy is going to be a bad head coach in the long run of his whole, because he's only a couple years into his coaching career.
So let me put it to you this way. From me being a teacher and a coach and learning pretty much from other coaches, being under them, and then getting my own team, you take from all these veterans and you say, okay, I want to take this from this person, that from that person, this person. You put all these ingredients together. And guess what? Sometimes a meal does not come out great. And this is exactly what happened. So is it a learning thing? Yes. You hired a staff that's very capable. Rely on your staff. That's one thing that I did learn, is that if I have capable people under me and they follow my overall concept, It is my job to delegate and trust them and hold them accountable. You can't hold the offense accountable if you're doing this and looking at the whole scheme at the same time. Your mind is everywhere. Now that the playbook is given away to Laser, and Laser's like, hey, this is my Laser show. Watch out. Close your eyes because we're going to light you up now. Nagy's like, well, I can just focus on being a motivator. I can focus on being a leader and delegate. And guess what? It's working.
Will, would you trust Trubisky or would you trust Matt Nagy going into next season?
I've been hard on Nagy this year.
Yep, a little bit.
It depends on where you're at. Because if it's still fire Nagy and Pace, which I'm in favor of still, then we must also auction off all of the pieces that are still valuable.
Yeah, because otherwise really you're just sitting here wasting their time.
Yep.
Exactly. Let these guys net you some draft picks, some young talent. If you could get a mixture of young talent and draft picks, and blow it up, or if you feel like, hey, maybe we figured something out here.
Right.
Still have to. I've been saying this. I've come on the show. You have to let Nagy draft his guy and develop him. And in the meantime, what you do is you bring in a veteran or you re-sign Mitch. Tailor the offense to that guy. Nagy's guy is ready, truly ready.
And the thing is that with Mitch, I think realistically what's going to happen with him in his career is that the Bears are not going to bring him back. Okay,
I don't think so.
I think that's a foregone conclusion. Realistically,
I think this is it.
I think, and it's a shame because what we see out of him when he's put in position to make plays, he looks like he can get the job done, and he looks like he's motivated now because he's like, all right, I get what's going on, but Mitch is a guy that needs all that confidence. You can't squash the kid down and then expect him to bounce back up again. He's just not there yet. He might get there one day, but he's not there yet. He's very young in his quarterbacking career even when you account the games that he's played in the pros and the games that he played in college. Now, the thing is that what I see is going to happen is that he's going to go on another team with a more established head coach, with a more established offense, and sit there, and he's going to thrive. And that's just what I see. I see him thriving in a different system.
That's exactly what's going to happen, man. Like, the kid has tools. It's just about, are you willing to adapt your game to what this kid does well? Mitch Trubisky is a guy, you must get him a solid offensive line. Must tailor your offense to strengths, man.
Take away his ability to think too long. Because when they roll him out, and you know who we all see it. We know who he's throwing to, but you've already misdirected the rest of the defense to get away from the receiver you're trying to throw it to. He was very, very effective today.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a quarterback that, and it's like, we're not reinventing the wheel.
No.
There's about 60% quarterbacks that can only read half the field. And that's just facts.
Right.
Analytically and statistically, those are facts.
I see Mitch next year in orange, just Denver orange.
Depending on who their coach is going to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. There's a handful of places where I wouldn't be shocked to see Trubisky land. One of them definitely would be Denver. Another place would be
Atlanta,
Pittsburgh. Let him go sit in Pittsburgh.
Big
Ben's gonna be there for a couple more years.
I like the Steelers, so I'm not mad about that.
And that's fine. It's fine. You let him learn behind Roethlisberger for a year or two, and then you turn him loose because Pittsburgh just knows how to get it done. They're going to surround him with weapons. They're going to have a good offensive line. They're going to be well coached.
I think he could strive in somewhere like you had mentioned, Atlanta, and the other team that I was thinking about is maybe the Colts.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of places that where
the Colts and Atlanta are places where you can play fast and on fast turf, and it'll give him a chance to utilize his running ability.
That's right.
Indeed. Colts definitely they have an excellent O line.
Right.
They have an excellent run game in place. They have a great defense, and like you said, you got the fast track. You put Mitch in that system, they can win. They can win and win now. So. Just one of those situations, man, where, the kid was never good graces of any leadership or coach besides Ryan Pace. That was it. Fox didn't want him. Nagy didn't want him.
Nagy, I think Nagy was hoping to get, like, Pat Mahomes light. And I mean, realistically, if you look at it, all three of these quarterbacks are very similar in the things that they do well and the things that they do bad. I mean, and you saw today, even Mitch, he had a couple of sidearm passes that looked really good. They had some nice zip on the throw.
Very, very Mahomes-like.
And he threw it right in that pocket where it needed to be. I mean, he did a good job today.
He threw receivers open today.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So let's transition over to the defense. What did we see? I mean, we did see a Mac attack today.
Yeah, Khalil got busy today. I mean, that's what you get to see every week from him when the defense has a lead to play with.
I think them being not on the field for 40 minutes a game makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And this is why only 7 points were allowed today.
You know what I mean? And then when you have a lead, you get to play more aggressive. You get to play more instinctively.
Right.
Because you're like, hey, we have a lead to play with. We can gamble a little more. We could play a little faster. We're not playing not to lose. We're playing to, you know what I mean, get the ball back in the hands of the offense as much as possible. And you just saw it today, man. And plus, from the pass rusher perspective, man, like the pass rush was outrageous today. But that's what happens when you make the run game a non-factor by scoring.
Yes.
You make a team one-dimensional by simply just scoring points when you're supposed to score.
And they deferred. The ball to start the game, so they knew where they were getting the ball. Or the Bears did. They knew they were getting the ball to start the second half.
It's funny because what we've seen a game is like the bizarro Bears.
Yeah.
The Texans look like the Bears, and the Bears look like the Texans. It's just weird. And scoring wise.
Right. And they just came out hot. And I mean, like, the defense is on fire. I mean, look, you're talking about 7 sacks today. Roquan Smith had 2. Mario Edwards had 2. And then you had Brent Urban, Bilal Nichols, and Khalil Mack each with a sack. I mean, that's wild. And you don't do that to Deshaun Watson.
I really like Mertz with the idea of Eddie Goldman coming back next year with Hicks. And I feel like you got to cut ties with Quinn. You got to eat that.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
Yep.
He always seems to be the last guy on the play.
Yeah, he's washed. And I know when the guy's washed. He's undersized, and you know what I mean. Like his get off and everything is just done. Like pass rushers are hard to come by in the NFL. Dallas let that guy walk, no problem. Even in the offseason when the Bears signed him, I was like, that's intriguing, but he's probably washed. That was my first thought. I was like, teams don't just let pass rushers, walk out the door. So typically when that happens, the guy's washed. You know what I'm saying? Or you're getting a haul back in the trade. Like, Bears got Mac. They gave up so much to get Mac, but, day one, Mac comes in as a difference maker. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you see what, you know what I mean?
Right.
You have to give up something to get something, but they let that man walk. Here comes Ryan Pace overpaying the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just a desperation move once they got rid of Floyd. They saw what this guy did for the year, and they figured they would be able to replace it. And then Floyd comes back for the Rams and kills it. We're gonna look at a couple things here. I want to know what your grades are for the game. I mean, we look at the fact that we had time of possession split right down the middle. Bears had 23 first downs. They were 3 for 10 on third down efficiency. 410 total yards, 241 passing yards, 169 rushing yards, 7 penalties, not great, but, I mean, that's going to happen. 59 total plays for the Bears, and they were able to score 36 points. What are we looking at? What grade would you give the offense this week, considering of what we've been seeing for the last, 7 weeks?
Offense gets an A today, man. Definitely get an A. That was the best I've seen the Bears offense look. 10 on Bears.
Yeah, since the Tampa game.
It was balanced. You know what I mean? They were aggressive. You know what I mean? And that's all you need right there, man. Like they didn't reinvent the wheel on offense. They just execute. You know what I'm saying? They let the offensive coordinator do what he does.
Yeah. All right. What grade do we give the defense today?
Defense. I'm gonna give defense a B+, man. Were you able to play with the lead? You know what I'm saying? You're able to tee off. You know what I mean? Texans' run game was non-existent. You know what I mean? So
and the funny thing,
give him a B+.
I don't even know who the running back was for the Texans, but he was up there making all the types of noise, like feed me. Greg Howell. Who is that? Greg Howell Jr. Who is this guy? And Duke Johnson was the other guy. But Duke, I think, And then they had CJ Prosise out there for one rush. But I mean, for me, when I'm looking at the numbers, I'm giving that defense an A+, man. You had 7 sacks today on Deshaun Watson.
And only giving up 70 points. So that's a big difference.
That's an A+ for me. I'm all the way up on that one.
Hill, what do you give us for our coaching grade?
Coaching grade, I'm gonna be a little lenient. Give him an A.
Okay.
All three phases, man. All 3 phases. They look good today, man. Like, I wish we could have seen a lot more of this all season, man. Got to set those egos aside, man. You know, like you guys made a good point. You have to lean on your staff, man. Mm-hmm. Like, you hired these guys for a reason,
right?
You know what I mean? Let those guys come in. You know, get into the fine details of the personnel and what we can do to scheme guys to be, you know, get the most out of our talent. You know,
right? I mean, I think today we saw the most complete game we've seen all season. I had this as an L, but that was at the beginning of the season, and the Texans have not played that well this year. They lost their coach because he was terrible. He got rid of D-Hop. But again, I will mention that the Texans did have a lot of missing players today. You had Kenny Stills that was out. That David Johnson was out. Will Fuller was out because he got popped for the PEDs. So I mean, you had a lot of players that were out today, and the Bears took advantage of that. And that's what you are supposed to do in the NFL. This is not. This would have been completely embarrassing for them to lose, but the fact that they won convincingly shows that, we have a little bit of resiliency. You know, they were coached up. The defense has been able to do what they've been doing for weeks.
Right, and you actually have some good talent on the team that should be used and in the correct position. Like, you use the tight end this week, use the running back this week.
Komet was on fire today.
Yeah.
Komet was getting up, popping dudes and coming right back up and jawing at him when he was done.
Right.
The Bears are relatively healthy.
Yes, absolutely.
This year too. And you hate to see that. You hate to see them underachieve when stars align for all of your best players to, you know, be healthy at this point of the year.
Right.
So just going forward, the Bears still have a chance to make the playoffs just because they got some healthy guys out there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, their best guys are healthy, man. So, I mean, you know, everybody's banged up at this point of the year, but, you know, I mean, you know, as far as injuries go, they're relatively healthy, man. So, this team could finish anywhere from 8-8 to 10-6. Let's see what happens, man. You got a very beatable Minnesota team. We owe them one.
Yeah, we do.
I don't trust Kirk Cousins ever.
That's a good segue. What is your prediction for next week against the Minnesota Vikings? What do you have, a win or a loss, and what's your score?
They're in our house next, and so are they in our house? I think so. I'm going to say that depends on where that game is.
We're in the Minnesota.
So we're playing it there.
That's good. That's good. We get to play on the fast track.
Yep.
So I actually got the Bears handling, and I think the Bears are going to win 27-20.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking at 23-16.
I got 23-20.
Yeah.
I got a field goal.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like if it's going to be an affair where if they can get that running game established again, that's the main key, because now you're running that 80-yard run today set such a tone that now the Texans have to watch for that running game all game. So now what do? Well, now you move back, you can move your pieces around, and all of a sudden you get a wide receiver that's open. All of a sudden you get Cole Kmet open. Oh man, it's so weird.
Works.
Play action works now.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Middle of the field is open.
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Everything's open up.
It's just when you can establish the run, man, you could game plan
and that's
anything you want on the backside of that.
You know, and one of the things we were talking about with the Bears is that, you know, we will sit here and clamor for them. Oh, they got a tank so they can get this guy, that guy, whatever. But here's the thing: hey, they win today. They keep winning. They beat Green Bay, and you know you sneaking in the back door of the playoffs. And then once you get to the show, it's anyone's game. So, and that's why it's so hard to be like, no, they should lose. If they didn't lose everything at this point, I mean, you get that little bit of glimmer of hope in your heart, and let's see what happens, man.
It just puts in perspective how big that loss was last week.
Oh yeah.
You literally are in the wild card right now. If you just take care of business last week, you don't blow that game. And you know, that was on the defense, man. Like,
Look,
anytime you're able to put up 30, you should get that W, especially, by the Bears standards of how we've been playing football the last 20 years. So,
I mean, at this point, you gotta learn from that loss. You have to not hang too hard onto this win. Try to sneak in the back door to playoffs, and all you need is a chip in a chair and see where it goes.
Yeah. You gotta. I don't trust Arizona winning. They got I think they have a tougher schedule than ours ahead. That's all you really have to worry about, man. You have to. I expect Arizona to wet the bed at some point down the stretch, and you just have to take care of business. I think our season really boils down to we have to get one against Green Bay this year.
We do, and it's just one game at a time.
That's right. All right, everybody, that's our Bears analyst, Il Brown. Check him out every week for his Bears expertise, and don't forget to check out his podcast, Beat the Block, available on all major platforms. Thanks, Will.
Thanks, Will.
Sir, next week.
All right.
Is the first anime manga company to feature characters of color, bringing a level of flair and authenticity to the genre as a whole. With influences ranging from Japanese manga and animation, Western comics, streetwear, hip-hop, and various forms of cinema, Noir has created a unique style that can be appreciated by the masses. Check out noircaesar.com for more information.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
It's that time again. You know what time it is, brother?
Uh-oh.
It's time for Stirring the Pot.
Yeah, baby.
What do you got today for us, E?
All right, bro. We got a part 2 because we have our special guest, Gabe Ramirez, is here with us from B96. So we're going to do a continuation of last week.
Yeah, we got a lot of feedback, text messages, what is it?
Oh, yeah.
Live messages.
Our producer was not too happy with us. The two of us picked tamales over pasteles.
I think people just stuck to their flag. That's what I'm saying.
And that's the thing. So what we did is we're having a taste test today. We got some pasteles and we got tamales to taste in a little bit.
Yeah.
So we can actually talk about it more as we go through the season. We picked these two things because they're very important to Hispanic households during Christmas time. So that was the idea here. So we're going to do part 2 of tamales versus pasteles. Gabe, what you got?
I think, listen, I mean,
no avocado on this stuff, all right?
No, don't worry. I mean, listen.
See, I listen.
The reality is, if you're going to a Chicago hot dog joint, you know what I'm saying, and you're ordering a tamale from there, there's levels to this, right? So that's the first level.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Because everybody loves that one because it's fire, it's quick, you know what I'm saying, got the little cornmeal, whatever. Now, when you're talking about like a regular, a tamale like versus a pastel, like for me personally, there's not even it's not even a competition. The pastel is like perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
brother. Man,
I knew it.
Well, we could have predicted that.
Listen, here's to me, and this is just like you were saying earlier in the show. We want to be objective here.
Okay.
A veces, when you get the masa is so hard and thick, and I'm talking about. Let's talk about the spectrum, the whole bell curve of tamales. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
The majority of them, you get all that masa, where it's a lot, and then what do you get? A chiquitín, un pedacito de pollo, and that's it. Now, when you get a pastel, the worst it's going to be is soggy because you left it in the water too long. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's always going to be good. There's going to be meat in there. It's going to be ready for you. And at the very least, fellas, you can always put ketchup on it. And it's just
there
like that.
No. He's a ketchup guy.
No ketchup ever in my house. That's the worst thing. No, hell no. First of all, no ketchup, man. Get the ketchup out of here.
I put ketchup on the pasteles.
Ketchup
I put ketchup on hot dogs.
Anything is terrible.
I put ketchup on my pasteles.
I don't understand it.
People that don't put ketchup on the hot dogs are just foolish because they say that
ketchup
you're
is
eating
disgusting.
French fries with ketchup. You put it in your mouth. You take a bite of the hot dog. You know what you're doing? Eating a hot dog with ketchup on it.
I'm not because I don't eat ketchup.
So do you eat French fries with ketchup on it?
Nope. He doesn't. No, he doesn't.
I like the
you don't
potato
like
and the
ketchup
salt.
at all.
I like the. That's my point. It's terrible. It's the worst
that's
condiment.
fair. That's
you know
a good
why?
argument.
You know why it's so bad? There's so many other flavors that are so much better than ketchup, and then you take that food and put ketchup on it. That's an insult. That's an insult to. And I'm a guy that likes to cook. One of the things that we were talking about was putting eggs on or ketchup on eggs.
Oh no!
And I was like, hold up! I says, do you know why there's 100 little folds in a chef's hat? It says there's 100 ways to cook an egg.
Correct.
Okay. That means that someone put so much time and dedication to figuring out how to cook this thing perfectly, and you want to put some damn ketchup on it, I will throw you out my house. I will throw you out my life. Like, get out of here. And I make beautiful eggs. So when you talking about I'm going to put ketchup on the eggs, no, man, I'm going to lock my door
if I go upstairs into the fridge, is there ketchup there?
I have 2 young children. Of course there's ketchup in my house.
Thank you.
And that's my point.
His kids have never eaten his eggs
for adults.
once in their life.
They eat it constantly. That's the thing.
All right, so you're going to Team Pasteles. I got one of a friend of the show, friend of mine, Yoli. She made some pasteles, last night, this morning, and I picked them up this morning and I brought them. So they're gonna be homemade. I also picked up some tamales from Damon and 21st. The tamale lady out there in the corner. She's got a Yelp page. Yeah,
But we did it legit, and that's the point.
Yeah.
And that's where I really wanted to go with this.
I wanted an even playing field.
That's what I really wanted to go with this is like, you want to talk about the bell curve. I'm talking about like, these are like the best version of these 2 foods.
Right.
Like, which one would you pick? For you, Gabe, if it's the best of each one, like with the most perfect version of each one, you're still going with pateles.
Yeah. You're not gonna sway me from it. I mean, I've never had a tamale and been like, damn, this tamale, get everything else off my plate. Nah, but I had some pateles. I've been like, fill this whole plate with pateles.
So your pastel is aluminum foil or banana leaf?
No, I gotta be aluminum foil. I want to pack the aluminum. I want to freeze them. I want them to take 1 hour and 5 minutes to boil them.
Are you doing pique, no pique?
Listen, guys. I said not to bring up the age. But back in the day, pique all day. But now, no pique, guys. Can't do it.
Bro, that's straight heartburn.
Heartburn is real, guys.
Oh, man. All right, man. Hey, Gabe, why don't you let us know what kind of stuff you got going on?
Yeah, man. Listen, first and foremost, it's good being on with you brothers, man. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. It's good to talk sports.
Absolutely.
with.
Appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying? People that are like-minded, where you're from, they love Chicago the way you do. And to me, that's extremely important. And when talking about what I do, I mean, geez, man, I get the opportunity to do that on a daily, right? I mean, I got my moms, my aunts, my friends, my ex-girlfriends, whatever it is, they're all listening, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool to be able to do that on a daily basis. And the reality is, as you brothers know, radio is not forever. You know what I'm saying? Radio personalities come and go. And I'm fortunate to be in that position, in that seat. And so all I ask is for those people that are listening right now, those that knew me once, know me, from whatever, or just learned about me. I just want to encourage you to take a listen to the show, man. It's a young Puerto Rican brother from Chicago representing not only himself, but everybody, you know what I'm saying? All of us and our perspectives. Because as you can see, we're all passionate in the same way. So I just want to say, man, check me out, man. That's all I say. Please, I'd encourage you guys to support a brother. So, yeah.
Appreciate you. Likewise. Yeah, I mean, this is dope to be able to just talk to our friends about sports. I mean, that when we first started the show, I told Z, I was like, hey, man, if no one ever listens to our show, at least we had a good time.
Oh, yeah, it's 2 numbnuts talking about sports.
Yeah. Now it's 3.
So, yeah, that's right.
That's right, baby.
And then the biggest thing is, like, we're from Chicago. Like you said, we promote Chicago. And, we celebrate everybody that we can get a hold of to be on the show. And it's just special to have you on the show because we went to high school together.
Yeah.
And when you're on the radio, when you're on TV, I feel like that's part of our success as well.
Absolutely.
I'm like, hey, man, I went to high school with that cool cat, and he's on TV, and he's doing his thing, and I'm going to support him. I'm going to watch every time he's on TV, and I listen to the radio every time I can.
You get, especially Lane Tech as a special thing, because every time we hear about someone from Lane Tech, we swell with pride.
Oh, yeah.
You got Laken Tomlinson, who's on the offensive line of the 49ers. When I was doing service calls, I actually went to a house, and this Jamaican lady was talking about, man, my son, this and that. He went to Lane, so, Jamaican lady, I'm talking to her immediately. And then she's like, oh, yeah, he's the offensive lineman about to play in the Super Bowl. I was like, yo, so even that, I'm like looking for him. I don't care about the 49ers, but I'm looking for him. You know what I mean? So you always kind of like keep your eye out and keep your ears open for Lane Tech alum. So we really appreciate you coming on and doing with us.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you guys having me on for sure.
Thanks for being our special guest this week. This is a Lane Tech alum, so
Who I gotta read? I gotta shout out the tamale lady on 21st and David. What I gotta do? I gotta do a commercial for her. What I gotta do?
No, I already shouted her out. I don't even know her name, but she got her money today. She got paid.
She did. That's a fact. She got paid, and she got a whole bunch of free advertising too.
Yeah, she did. Hey man, the tamales are gonna be good. I'm gonna guarantee it.
All right. Thanks to our special guest, fellow Lane Tech alum, co-host of Fox Network's Bears Unleashed, and the host of the B96 Morning Show, Gabe and Nina in the Morning, Gabe Ramirez. Thanks, Gabe.
Appreciate you, fellas, man. Thanks, y'all, for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Take it easy. All right, y'all. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. If you like what you hear, remember to give us a review and 5 stars on your listening app of choice. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned as we continue to bring more content as we go live on Facebook after every Bears game. And then today we went live for halftime too.
Yeah, bonus.
Yeah, baby. We do love interacting with you guys, so it is always a treat for us to be able to talk to y'all and have you talk to us live and things like that. We want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Nora Caesar, Villain Radio Studios, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to check out gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. And an extra special thanks to this week's guest, Gabe from B96. Don't forget to check him out every Monday through Friday morning, 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 96.3 FM. And shout out to our Bears analyst, Il Brown. Don't forget to check out his podcast, Beat the Block. And lastly, thank you to Yoli for the pasteles.
Yes. Thank you, Yoli.
And shout out to Ronesh and our producer, Jay Soto. Want to start a podcast and have your show sound as clean as ours? You can find everything you need at jsotomedia.com. Check us out on social media. You can find us at True Shy Fans on Twitter, where we are conducting our ultimate sitcom tournament. You can vote every weekday for your favorite sitcom. We're doing a 64-team NCAA men's tournament style bracket, so check it out every weekday. And don't forget to find us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and reach out to us on our email. We love hearing from you guys. You can reach us at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. Don't forget, check out every Monday, the AllNet Podcast is back with Season 2. Your host, Mike Logic, and Ideal break down the entire NBA, and I do believe they will be going live for Bulls games.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so they got brand new episodes every other Monday coinciding with the NBA season. And before we go, we want to extend our condolences to Jimmy Collins.
That's right. Jimmy Collins, a longtime Illinois men's basketball assistant who went on to coach Illinois Chicago, which is UIC, for 14 seasons. He led the Flames to 3 NCAA tournament appearances. He died early Sunday, according, this is posted by the UIC Twitter. So our condolences to his family and friends.
And shout out, we want to give condolences to the family of Debo. Tommy Lister, he passed away this past week as well. He was 62 years old.
Yeah, I grew up knowing him as Zeus in WWF.
Yeah. I mean, he was a wrestler. I mean, he had a big career. I mean, he did a lot of things.
I met him a couple times through some school events where they do like back to school rallies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He stayed in character, let's just say that.
Yeah, I bet.
Scared the you know what out of me.
All right, y'all. For Big Z, this is E-Roc. We'll see you next week for episode 24. Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Yeah.
That's my bike now.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos.
Show's over.